Welcome to I Won't Be Here Forever. I am Alyssa DeFilippo with Connections California. We are a statewide online resource and information center for all things transition to adulthood and adult services. I'll put some information in the chat about that, but our presenter this evening probably needs no introduction as she's known by many in our community. But if you are here for the first time and new to Parents Helping Parents events, Trudy Grable has spent 30 years at PHP, supported and trained thousands of parents and professionals, developed programs, built communities, and was part of the PHP leadership. Trudy continues to volunteer at PHP, witnessed by this evening, and facilitates a support group for parents of adult children with developmental disabilities, online and in person. And I will put those links in the chat so you can see. I think it's actually coming up on Monday, the 20th. Trudy is an active member and a trainer credentialed by the Learning Community for Person-Centered Practices and utilizes person-centered tools in all aspects of her career and life. This winter, I actually took Trudy's 5-week course on building the person-centered support plan. And when it finished, I turned around and signed up for it again right away because the work is profound and it's oh so necessary. Her passion for this subject matter is rooted in her life's experience and her compassion for others on the same journey. We'll be doing a 3-part series in October to dive a bit deeper into I Won't Be Here Forever. So please watch for info on that. But for now, I give you Trudy Grable.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the October thing too. So I have a form that I'm going to be asking you to make some contributions to. So if you want to make in the comments anything that you want to make sure we cover related to this topic, which is the topic that every parent talks about when they get together with other parents, right? It is always on our mind. It's on our mind from the minute we get up till the minute we go to bed. It's like, well, what if I just died right now? Are people going to know what to do? And so, I've being my age, I'm pushing 70. I'm getting really comfortable with those thoughts. It was really awkward for a long time. Um, in fact, you probably saw what I wrote, my little script about aging and my attitude towards, well, one, not being able to die, which is a joke on us, right? I want to acknowledge there's a woman here today that actually helped found Parents Helping Parents with Florine Poyadu and one other, and she's in the audience today. So I'm pretty honored to have her today. I won't mention your name due to privacy, but thank you for helping to create an agency that was instrumental in my life and my career. So I'm going to launch right into some slides. There's not a lot of slides, but sometimes it helps keep me on track because if you know me, you know I can get off track. So the title tonight, I Won't Be Here Forever, and that's our reality. We know that, we plan for that, we think about it, even though we sometimes find ourselves in denial about it. I hear a lot of people just say, well, I just can't die. And that's all well and good, but the reality is God's just laughing at us when we say that. And when I was in my 20s and 30s, that's what I said. In my 40s, I thought about, I better get life insurance. It was cheap then because I was young and healthy. And my 50s, I decided, okay, well, I think maybe a trust, special needs trust. Of course, by then we're looking at conservatorship and doing some of the things that we have to do. Well, now my attitude is, I know I only have one stop out of here, right? And still I worry every day. And I've taken a lot of action on making sure people will know where to find information and who to contact, but it's still something that's on my mind all the time. And so, um, you know, I just want to share with you some of the thoughts that I have and some of the practical things I've put together. But this is a no pressure this is a no guilt induced event. So I'm not going to sell you anything. Here is my deal, right? How many times have somebody said to you, you need to let go? It's like, really? Does that mean you're going to take over? Because I don't see anybody stepping in for me. So my tombstone, if I had one, I probably won't have one, but this is what it will read. She finally let go, because I want to know everything that's happening. That's me. Some people are ready to release more. I like to say, I'm letting my daughter grow, right? But the people that are telling you you need to let go are also the ones telling you, that you're responsible to do all this stuff and for all the caregiving. And, there's such a conflict in that statement, you need to let go. Because wouldn't we like to let go sometimes? Like just go, yeah, I'm going to travel the world. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen, right? So here's, whoa, my whole slideshow just went crazy. I don't know what happened, but let me try it again. Let's see. Don't know what happened there. I hate it when that stuff happens. Don't you? Now I gotta go to presenter mode. Okay. Lisa, are you guys seeing? You're not seeing the presenter mode. Okay, let me get there again. Okay.
We're good.
Huh? Are we
We're
good?
good. Yes.
Okay, awesome. There's a lot of things that a lot of us haven't done because, for one, maybe we don't have the financial resources to do all the things that we're told we need to do. We may not have the energy, and that's a reality. So there are going to be times where you just go, yeah, no, I can't do that. I just can't right now. I don't have the energy. I'm just trying to get through the day, right? We interpret that as we are bad. And when we interpret that we are bad because we either didn't do something or we didn't measure up somehow, it triggers shame in us. It triggers shame, and we don't want to talk about it anymore. And that's, I think, why we go to, I just can't die. Because that goes along with, I just can't deal with this right now. And we need to say enough. You are all doing the best that you can. And we don't want to fall into that ditch of shame because we didn't have the energy, didn't have the money, didn't have the resources to be able to do what other people think we should do. So it can compound our shame from all the other stuff that we've been through at IEPs and IPPs and, just not having the successes that we wanted for our lives, our sons, our daughters. And we also, our children are shamed for being who they are, for not measuring up, for not reaching their goals, for not being compliant. Oh, I hate that word, compliant. Let's just take that out of the dictionary, because compliant means I want you to do what I want you to do, whether you want to do it or not. And none of us likes that. So right now, I want you to just think about all the people, all the experiences, not necessarily the people, because they're coming at it from a positive mindset of wanting to help us, right? They want to help us. But, I'm the eye roller. It's like, really, why don't you get in here and help me with this? And sure, I'll get it all done. But we'll do it as we're able. And there's no shame in that. So we've just got to quit playing that shame game and allowing people to say things that send us there. So I just want you to pretend you got a piece of paper. Just do it, okay? Just or grab a piece of paper. All I have is this little sticker from a bag I bought. But I'm just gonna crunch it up and I'm just gonna toss that thing away. I am done with shame. I've done the best I can and so have you. And so just let all that go and do what you can, because you'll be more successful without that mixed into this party. And I also want you to forgive yourself for what you didn't know before you didn't know it. Because I have heard so many times about transition that we should start when our kids are 5. I was just trying not to run away from home when my daughter was 5. Those were hard times. So if you've got a child who's younger and you're not doing that whole transition plan, it'll happen anyway. And as it appears, as it presents to you, you'll get it done. You'll get it done because you have to. So if you feel like you've missed steps, join the club, because we've all missed steps. We've all, said, I will get to that. And then all of a sudden they're 18 and you're going, where did that time go? So clean slate for tonight, clean slate. When we deny the story, it defines us. But when we own the story, we can write a brave new ending. And that's Brene Brown, who I think is wonderful and always is an inspiration to me. And so we can define this, and we can be honest with people and say, I just don't have the resources to get that done right now, but thank you for sharing that with me. And then you do it when you're ready. So we're going to do some things tonight that I hope are going to help you, kind of tickle you into thinking about doing some of these things. And first I'm going to show you a video. In this video, I want you to pay attention to the really important things that this mother is sharing. And let me just cue this up. I want to get it in Spanish. So I'm going to pause it for a minute while I put closed captioning on in Spanish so that our interpreters don't have to try to keep up with all those words. All right. Give me just 1 second. It keeps skipping out on me. There we go. All right. So I just want you to listen in to the important things that this mother is sharing.
Mrs. Crowley, there is evidence that your son may have suffered some injury in this fall now. We don't think that it's bad, but we just need to do an ultrasound to make sure. He's been sedated, but I need you to wait here until we've completed this, all right?
I never should have left him alone. I knew it. I knew it.
Hey, Ms. Crowley, I need to talk to you about your test results. The wall of your aorta is dangerously thin and could burst at any moment. And when that happens, it will most likely kill you. I'm not mincing my words right now because I need you to understand the severity of the situation. And we need to take you up to surgery right now.
I can't. I can't have surgery right now. I can't leave Tom. He's injured. He's upset. This has been a rough day on him. I can't. No. It'll have to wait.
Well, isn't there someone that you can call?
No. My ex-husband left when Tom first got sick, and friends have fallen away. It's only me.
Oh, we have services, so we can arrange to.
I can't just leave him with a stranger. I need time to hire someone and train them. To know that if he's watching TV and he's holding his head a certain way, it means the television is talking to him and he needs to be distracted. He likes shopping. But they can't take him to the place on Lee Road because he thinks they're out to get him. So they have to go to the place on River Road. But they've got to park in the back because underground parking makes him upset. And it goes on and on and on. So no, please. I need time. A week. I've made it this long. I can make it another week.
I'm not sure that you have another week. I need you to think about yourself right now.
I have a mentally ill son. I don't get to think of just myself anymore.
Okay, take a deep breath, because I know that was hard to watch for a lot of us. And what we're going to do now is I want you to use chat, and I want you to pop this in to chat. Some of the things that when you think of your son or daughter or sibling or mother, I mean, everybody has somebody that needs care in their life. What are some of the little things that nobody knows but you? Pop one thing in to chat. One of those little nuanced things that, you just go, oh, I know what that means. Nobody else really understands, but I know what that means. So pop that in there, our inside jokes that he relies on to feel connected. Thank you, Eric. What else? Jennifer says, I'll never forget that episode, right? It just really hits home. She felt like she couldn't have a life-saving surgery because she couldn't leave him. How much time someone's child needs to process requests. What else are the things that that are just needing his special pillow to squeeze? There's something in Spanish, if somebody could read that for me, what medicine she takes when, who are the doctors and the teachers, when is having a trauma response. Oh my God, rather than a typical teenage response, right? My daughter loves crafts. She's afraid of umbrellas. And so much more, even when it's open. She's never thrown up. Wow. Okay, specific food preferences. Give her pressure on the forehead when she's dysregulated. First response is always no, and then come back after a few minutes and says yes. I am the external nervous system, needed at all times, even co-sleeping for constant regulation, or goes into flight, fight, or freeze. My brother is afraid because he has dementia and he doesn't know where he is. My son laughs in a certain way. I know there's something bothering him. Likes a foot rub at night. Has to kick his leg to swallow pills. He expects me to say goodnight so he can say, don't let the bed bugs bite. Oh, this stuff still gets to me after all these years, right? My son has night sweats and has to have pillows washed every week. Is there somebody who could read the Spanish one? I don't know if that was just a message.
Yeah, Trudy, that was just a message.
Okay, so feel free if you can write it in Spanish and we will have someone read it for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab a piece of paper, and I don't care what it looks like. It can be a scrap piece, like, I'd be writing on, if I'm at a meeting and I got to make notes all the way around here, because that's all I've got in my hand, and a pencil. And I want you to write some of these things down, but don't start yet because you only get 2 minutes. We're going to do an exercise that we call the 2-minute drill. And the 2-minute drill is a learning center. Okay. It is a person-centered learning skill. And what I believe is this is one of the best exercises that I can offer you and that you can have other people do. So I'm going to set my timer. I'm going to assume everybody was, while I was blabbing and getting my slides back up, I'm going to assume everybody got a pen and a paper. You could also, write it into your phone under notes or whatever on your computer, whatever works for you. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes and just pretend for a minute that I have a connection to Oprah. Wouldn't that, I would love to know Oprah, but I don't. So we're going to have to pretend. So I want you to write down the most important things that if Oprah sent a limo to your front door, but you have to leave in 10 minutes and you still have to pack. So you only have 2 minutes to tell me, if I was coming in to take care of your child, the most important things I need to know to be able to help your son or daughter or sibling or loved one. I want to know how I keep them happy, healthy, and safe. The most important things. So I'm going to start the timer and I'm going to have you write now. All right, go. You still have 1 minute and 15 seconds. You have 40 seconds. Twenty seconds. Down to 5. Okay, that's our timer. Now, is your child and I going to survive with the most important stuff? So these are the things, in my opinion, and we've gotten some additional things put in here. So I want you to take a look at those when you get a chance, because I think it really helps to stimulate our minds to thinking about our own child, which is why I had you put it in chat, because it really does. Oh yeah, my child does that too. So doing this with other people can be really beneficial. How many of you feel like that was a good exercise? Just give a thumbs up. Well, I can't see any of you though. I'm so sad because I always like to see people when I'm doing this. But I see one hand up. I see a few. I guess you can put your hands up. I can. Oh, and hearts too. Yay. Thumbs up, hearts. I love it. All right. So for me, this is what I believe is the best thing I can do for my child above money, is to make sure other people know about those things, because that's where we get quality of life. It's good to have money. I'm not putting money down, but knowing people's hearts, knowing what really matters to them, that is what really should be the first thing we do. So what does really matter to your child? You know, and then how do we help others know that? And getting them the supports they need in the way that works for them. What matters for them, and I'm going to define those in a minute for you. We're not going to spend a lot of time there because there's a whole nother class for that. But then, where are other people going to find this information? So it's one thing putting it together, and then another thing leaving it for others to find. I mean, you know, I could fall and break my hip and be out of commission for a couple of weeks and not be around to be able to do the things I do every day. Even though Lauren's in supported living, we're kind of enmeshed. Maybe you're like that too. So important too are the things that bring us joy, satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment, and comfort. Those are the things that when you really think about, oh, that's important to me. Somebody did something nice for you. It made you feel valued, content. It, all of those things. It might be people, it might be places, it might be things I own. It might be, it could be anything that matters to the person. So it's really about what matters to the person. And then important 4 looks at health and safety. So we're looking at making sure people are free from fear so that they're not always afraid of getting in trouble. That's a sense of safety, right? That they have community lives and that their health needs are taken care of. And so when we talk about what's important to people, it's different than what's important for people. And we want to make sure that all of those things are addressed for our kids when we're gone. So here are some of the things that you can do to prepare for your departure, whether it's for a week because you sprained your ankle, or if it's because you're having a major surgery. We're getting older, things are starting to fail. We got to get, new parts sometimes. And so the letter of intent informs people what it is you would like to see happen for your son or daughter. It is not a legal document. It is a wish list, basically. And you would hope that people would implement that. But one of the things that I've learned over the years and living this reality and talking to thousands of parents about this is that I'm going to do my best while I'm here to have all that ready. It's probably not going to be perfect, and probably not all of it will be used, but it gives me peace to do it. And once I'm gone, I really don't have any control. So I've learned to just kind of go, well, I'm not going to have any control once I'm gone, but my tombstone message is still there. While I'm still here, I'm going to do what I can to prepare so that it's going to be easier for the people who are stepping into my role as the parent, as the primary parent, because, her dad lives across the country. So, it's really on me. And there's probably lots of you that your husbands are living in your house and it's still on you, or your wives are not involved. So, or both your parents are gone and you're taking care of a sibling. So these are some of the things that you can do, that letter of intent. And I've got links to share with you for all of these things. A person-centered plan. And I like to now call it a person-centered support plan. So it tells people exactly how to do it and get it right the first time. So our kids don't have to be tortured for another 10 years while people are learning about it. A binder with all the stuff. I mean, a binder is so easy. In fact, I should have pulled it out, but it's right here. And it's kind of falling apart. But it's literally just you can see I stick things in there in the front, and I got things I still need to file, but I have one place for everything. And it's got information for Social Security, all these different tabs, which are, lots of them are makeshift tabs, and they just look like crap, but they're there. And it's going to help people. I did buy new ones to do, but I haven't done it yet. See, I'm behind on things too. We got a birth certificate in here. We got the IHSS info, CalFresh, Section 8 waiting list. Well, that'll probably never get called, but something as simple as a binder. And then, you can just, I call it a repository. So I just stick stuff in the folder or in the binder, and then I'll file it one day. I actually had Lauren help me filing one day, and it was kind of fun. A Google spreadsheet. I created one that says everything mom does for Lauren. And as I do things, and I think, is that on the list? So I go look, And then I fall into that rat hole of updating it and making sure everything's current. When was her last Medi-Cal authorization? All of those kinds of things, so that people know these are the things that somebody's going to have to do when mom's gone. Because if you don't have it written down somewhere, they are not going to know what to do, I promise you. And then creating a one-page description or a profile. You've probably seen those on the internet. I encourage you to Google it and take a look. I think all of these things combined, or some of these things, I don't have a letter of intent, just so you know. I've made my intentions known to my daughters, who I hope will be those that help implement things, but they're across the country too. So, you know, you just, in this combination, you might hit gold. So just start simple. That's my daughter and her boyfriend, by the way. That's Lauren and John. But just start writing down what you know works and doesn't work for your loved one. Again, I believe that the quality of life is more important than the quantity of money or services that a person has. So that's kind of repetitive. And here's some of the good news. If your child's a regional center client, they have a safety net. And people are always afraid, well, what's going to happen when I die? Make sure that somewhere in your house, that if something happens to you, call the regional center, that somebody knows, call the regional center. If something happens to me, I break a leg and the neighbor comes over because they see the ambulance there to take you. Say, call the regional center, have their number written down somewhere, because the Lanterman Act is a lifetime commitment to our sons, daughters, and siblings. And they will have access to the services throughout their lifetime. They're not going to be the same quality of services that you provide. There's just no way. But it's going to be, they're going to have a home. They're going to have a service coordinator. They're going to have somebody who's going to look in on your child, help find a living arrangement, whether it's an emergency or bringing people into the home, if that's possible. So you have a safety net. And we are blessed in California, because I talk to people from all over the country, and some of the programs that are available to people really do not meet their needs in any timely fashion. And we're talking 15 years on a wait list. So that we're here, right? So these are all the things that, you know, kind of, if you think of Maslow's theory, if you're familiar with that, the things that we need to think about. Are we going to be able to all leave money for our kids? No, some of us are just trying to get by. And so they will have Social Security or SSI. They will have a residential placement. If the person is, okay, I'm going to get to the questions in a few minutes, but try to ask very specific so I can answer very specifically too. So if anybody wants to make their questions more robust, go ahead and do that. Okay, so these are all the things. Which one do I think is the most important? Who can guess which one I think is the most important on here? Put it in chat. What do you think I think is the most important one? And somebody from PHP is pounding in there some great links. So be sure to download the links. Housing, safety, care, housing, friends. Uh-oh, you heard the emphasis for me on friends, didn't you? Things and activities, housing, safety, friends, care, activities, safety. Yeah, I believe that friends are the vehicle to ensuring a higher level of safety and all of these other things that are on here, because friends come with families. I don't have much family here. In fact, I have one brother in Livermore, and that's it. And he doesn't know anything about special needs. But if she has friends, and true, authentic friends, like other friends with, support needs, friends that she goes to programs with, but not just that. Seeing her friends at the program is not the only time that they see each other. And that gives me an opportunity to connect with the other families. I can tell you a lot of parents have told me that, my whole 20s, 30s thing, I can't die. They tell me I can't die because they're going to put me in their kids person centered plan. And that's all well and good, but I have limits. And I'm learning boundaries, but it's really hard because I really love this stuff. But they're going to have friends who have family members who know what services are out there and how to reach them. Because there's a lot of people here in this program tonight whose names I recognize, who I know if something happened to me, I could call one of them and say, I need somebody to get on this for me. Can you help? And that's how we build that rapport. And we do it through our kids' friendships. So I encourage you to explore that however you can. And if that's one more thing that's just too much, maybe you can pay someone to do it, like an IHSS worker or a living skills person to increase their social competence or self-determination. But I think other people are the key to a good life. And that's true for you too. All right, I'm going to show you another Google spreadsheet. And somebody asked about the template. So for my daughter's Google spreadsheet, now I'm not going to give you the link because it has all kinds of stuff that no one should share online because it is like passwords and stuff. But I'm going to show you what it looks like just so that you can get a sense of what it looks like. And I'm going to find it. It's got to find the right account, right? I got all these different emails. And I found it. So now I will share it. And here it is. This is what it looks like. It's a Google Doc, and you can see that I've shared it. And I've shared it with her sisters, her dad, her supported living staff, and so that people will know what it is they need to do. So I've got the service received. I've got the most recent renewal, the frequency, the source of that service, what she gets, their contact information, their phone number, and their emails. And at the bottom, there's links. So I've got services one page. And if you click on the link, it's just like an Excel spreadsheet. Here's how to contact the regional center in an emergency if I'm not around, and who to ask for if they don't know who to ask for. Mike Keeley, he's one of the big dogs there now. I knew him when he was the little dog. In-home supports, other things that I don't know where it fits, but I'm going to make sure it's there. And then there's a contact list. And one of the things that I have in my other things is grief and loss for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I'm going to copy these three. If you want to put them in your document, you're welcome to do that. If you just want the headers of this, you can just email and I'll be happy to send you a list of the headers that I've created. And so let me pop those three resources in chat. And those are for when we're gone, how to get our kids the emotional support they need. Okay, we're going to be doing a whole series on this in the fall. So yeah, we can't go into too much because of the time restraints I have tonight. But here's a Google Doc that we created at one of our parent meetings. And we call it My Exit Strategy. And we compiled a list of what other people had done already so that we would all have an idea of what we needed to do. And I've gone in and color-coded financial, legal, practical stuff, public benefits, and other supports. And so this is, and I see somebody else is in it right now, I can tell that. So I'm going to copy the link and put it in chat. I also shared it in our Facebook page today. And so you are welcome to hit this whenever you want. And you can make comments. So if you go, oh, that link doesn't work, I'll go in and update it. So this is going to be a growing resource for people. We're also going to ask you to share with us what you've done. What are the things that you have done? And you should be seeing now this, what did I do? What do I plan to do? Ignore that thumbs down. I just didn't have time to do that. Contributors, I'm just gonna get this code. I have a limit on this because it got really expensive, but I'm gonna put the code in here and you can throw some things in. There you go. All right, so that code, you can throw some things in there. We'll add it. We just want to keep this list growing so that everybody has access to it and you don't feel like, oh my God, where do I even begin? Because that's really how we feel sometimes. So I don't even know where to start. I don't even have the energy for this. So we want to make sure that people have relationships with other people, because there's Lauren and John again. I love to show them because they've been together for 15 years, if you could believe it. So, we want to include not just planning for our absence around money and insurance and plans, but people. We want to include the people part. And we want to make sure that our kids receive empathy. Empathy, just like all of us want. But they very often don't get it. They get corrections and redirections. And so I'm just going to play this very short 2-minute video because it can be a life changer.
So what is empathy and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied perfect.
1 second.
At least you know you can.
I'm trying to get the Spanish, so forgive me. My computer is. The YouTube thing can be really tricky sometimes to get this to shift into a different language. Okay. Okay, translators, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to count on you to translate this, but I'll keep trying while you're doing that.
So what is empathy and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy: perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth, staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do, recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, I'm down. I know what it's like down here and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no. You want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. Yeah. And we do it all the time, because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. at least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversation is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
All right, so redirection. What we need to really look for is for people to provide connection and just sit there and be with our kids. And we have to teach that, because what they're going to do is, and I've worked with a lot of agencies, a lot of programs that provide day services and residential cares. They just want to distract them from it. And that's not going to help them get through it. So teaching empathy, insisting people use it with our kids. Oh, you look so sad. How can I help? Do you want to have a cup of tea? I'm so sorry. And I'm going to just tell you a story because I think it really illustrates the importance of us sharing the information with the people who are supporting our kids. So I was working with this agency and they had been supporting this gentleman for like 15 years. And we were doing a planning session, a person-centered planning session. And he just started crying. And this happened a couple of times and nobody did anything. Nobody said anything. They just ignored him. And finally I said, hey, can anybody tell me why Joe's crying? I'd like to better understand. And they said, oh, he just does that. He just does that sometimes. And then he'll say something about his dog and a brother and then he's fine. You know, he just does it. And his sister was at this meeting and she said, I can tell you what that means. And what had happened when he was a boy, he was out with his brother and a friend, and they saw a dog across the street. So they ran across the street to see the dog. And they were done messing with the dog, so they came back to the other side of the street. And when Joe looked back, his little brother was still on the other side. And the little boy, you know, that fight, flight, or freeze. Well, he flight. He ran across the street and he got struck by a car. Not one car, two cars. And he died. Now, he's crying. He's a man in his 60s and he's still crying about it. And they just shine him on instead of saying, oh, you must be thinking about your brother. You're feeling sad today. I'm here to listen, because the guy could talk too. Nobody ever asked him. So that's why I feel so passionate about sharing about who our child is, what's important to them, what is important for them. And empathy's got to be on that list. I know that's a really sad story. I almost cry when I tell it too, especially now because I went off all my antidepressants. So yeah, I'm just like you guys. Okay, I may have been doing this for a long time, but I am no different. This is a wonderful program called Life Course Tools, and they have put together so many wonderful tools for us to use. They have online stuff going on all the time. It's almost always free. I post it to our Facebook page and our group when something cool is going on like this. But here's one that really looks at what we were just talking about, caring about and caring for. So, you know, we'll focus on these a little bit more in the fall and we'll do some more work around this. But I want to get to your questions if you have some. Here's another life course tool document that is looking at the vision. And you can use this to create, if you could just use this and write it right in here, because you can download these and type right in, though it does have a limit to the amount, but you could also use it in writing your letter of intent. And it gives you all the areas of life to consider when you're putting that together. So I love these tools. I think they're fantastic. So your to-do list is, one, forgive yourself for what you haven't done yet, because you've been doing the best you can. And that's all we can ask of ourselves. We're going to let go of the shame, the guilt, regret that have been piled on us. You know, for me, Lauren's going to be 40 this year. I got 40 years of guilt, shame, and regret to let go for the things I haven't done yet. But I'm just like you, doing the best I can. Do what works for you and your family, what you can do, and what you can't do it later. Right. Well, I can't thank you enough for having me, Alyssa. I love
My
being able to
pleasure.
connect with families. It's kind of my passion and what I really look forward to doing. And I thank you for this opportunity and connecting with all of you and sharing and learning from you.
Well, thank you. We're very grateful you decide to spend your time with us. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll see you in the fall. Take care.